trenches. Ask a nigga what he benching. Triple digits, nigga, don't forget to mention. Whole hard in the trenches. Ask a nigga what he benches. Triple digits, nigga, don't forget to mention. Don't forget. I got memories, dead stain the whole room if I let him bleed. Shit was dark, I let this little light of
man. You know what's crazy? I was just reading that. Where is the section? There we go. So listen, first and foremost, hey, DMV, welcome to the stream, man. I hope you well, bruh. Hope everything's going good. Hope your day's good, all that good stuff. All right, let's get into it. Welcome back to another episode of the Trap or Die podcast. Let's get through the administrative things right quick. Twitch, if you are watching on Twitch right now live, or the VODs, and if you like the content, you like to you want to get involved with the conversations, you want to call in, all that good stuff, make sure you are following. If you are not, this is a followers only chat. We appreciate every follow. We appreciate everybody contributing to the conversations and things like that. So make sure you are following if you aren't. YouTube, if you are watching on YouTube and you find yourself that you are not subscribed, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button on the video, whatever video that you're watching, and give your boy a subscription on YouTube, man. Help goes a long way. And the same thing with the podcast. If you are listening on whatever podcast platform and you enjoy the content, make sure you do follow or subscribe on whatever platform. And if you don't mind, leave a review, man. It takes 2 seconds to do it. And yeah, that's that. Another reminder, one more time, we'll be doing a giveaway at the end of the Packers game, the post-game stream. I will be doing the giveaway. This is a thank you to everybody who has been supporting me to this point, and supporting the show, supporting the stream, and just contributing each and every opportunity to get a chance to. It's truly appreciated. Y'all support me, I'm gonna support y'all, or show my support in return. Or gratitude. Whatever the word is, whatever the goddamn word is. Okay. So let's go ahead and get into it. This ain't gonna be a long stream. It's only me. No, we have no Packers reporter this evening. Took a week off. Just wanted to talk. So with that being said, DMV fan 123 said in the chat that he needs Congress to get right with the NFL and Schneider. For those who don't know, this stream, we started the stream at 7 p.m. Started recording at 7 p.m. So for those who don't know, about 40 minutes ago, some information came out. And, good Lord, what did I just do? All right, so the information came out that the House committee will be investigating the NFL's handling of Washington football team workplace culture probe. So I'm gonna read this verbatim because it's not that long. So I'll read it. Hey man, appreciate the subscription, DMV fan. It truly appreciate it. Thank you for the support. Thank you for checking in whenever you do, man, and just showing your love, bro. It's much appreciated, big dog. All right, so here we go. So chairs Maloney and Krishnamurthy. I know that's not this person's name, but I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm gonna leave it at that. Launch an investigation into the NFL's handling of Washington's football team's hostile workplace culture. So apparently delete. What's going on, y'all? This is Jamal, man. And listen, this is just a reminder. If you do appreciate the content, if you do enjoy the discussions, if you enjoy the videos, all that good stuff, man, hit that subscription button. We truly appreciate it. I truly appreciate it, man. We're just trying to grow out here, and support goes a long way. It's as simple as hitting that subscribe and that like button. Comment if you wish, man. Truly appreciate it. I ain't gonna hold you. Go ahead and get back to the show. See you later. John Gruden emails raise questions about the NFL management's impartiality and willingness to address serious problems. On October 21st, 2020, today, Representative Carolyn, I want to say Republican to be honest with you, Carolyn B. Maloney, chairwoman of the Committee on Oversight and Reform, and Raja Krishnamurthy, chairman of the Subcommittee on Economic and Consumer Policy, sent a letter to the National Football League's Commissioner Roger Goodell requesting documents and information regarding the Washington football team's hostile workplace culture and the NFL's handling of this matter. The quote is as follows from both Maloney and Krishnamurthy. The NFL has one of the most prominent platforms in America, and its decisions can have national implications. The NFL's lack of transparency about the problems it recently uncovered raised questions about the seriousness in which it has addressed bigotry, racism, sexism, and homophobia, setting troubling precedent for other workplaces. The committee is seeking to fully understand this workplace conduct and the league's response, which will help inform legislative efforts to address toxic work environments and workplace investigation processes, strengthen protections for women in the workplace, and address the use of non-disclosure agreements to prevent the disclosure of unlawful employment practices, including sexual harassment. We hope and trust the NFL shares the committee's goal of protecting American workers from harassment and discrimination. So what does that mean? I don't know right now. I can share my experience though. So for those who don't know, I'm not going to give too much details into my job, but I do work for the federal government, and we deal with Congress quite often. And when they reach out to you for information and documents, typically you're required to hand it over. Like it's under federal law, it's mandated. You gotta like hand over documentation. So the sense of this is that whatever the scope of which the House committee will be looking into for Washington in the emails or whatever documents that they're asking for of the NFL, whatever they're looking into, it's going to come out and it's going to come to light. But we have to be mindful, and this is just me talking after reading this for 5 minutes. I would suggest obviously after today to look out for some people who has some ability to speak with other individuals. But from my experience, again, understanding the scope, once they identify the scope and once they identify what exactly they want to look into, like from time periods, and do they want to look specifically into what Washington itself has done, or do they want to look into like the actual context of emails? That's kind of where you kind of want to figure this thing out. Like, is it just the emails, or is it everything that Washington has done since the investigation of last year? Like that, how much stuff do they want to look into? How much information do they want to obtain? Do they want to look into the Beth Wilkerson report about the workplace culture? Are they going to retrieve those documents? Are they going to look into what Beth said about this whole thing, and versus what she actually gave to the NFL? Like, how much are they looking into? How much will they uncover? These are things that we don't know yet, but we will find out. Because I don't want to get anybody hopes up. While the House that's a strong pull. That is a very strong pull in the sense that when they want to look into something, they will. And when they want to uncover something, it's substantial, and it's prevalent. But we just don't know what the scope is. And while we all want Schneider to give us our team back, there is no certainty that they will be looking that deep and revealing that much information. I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm just saying it's no guarantee, because we just don't know what the scope is yet, the full scope. So with that being said, I'll leave that there because this is brand spanking new. There's not enough information out there for me to speak on it, but that's my experience, given, I do work in the federal government and deal with Congress. You just have to be mindful of those steps that we have to take before we get to getting rid of Dan. So with that being said, let's transition to, I'm gonna move this down one knob. Actually, I'm gonna move this up one knob. There we go. All right. So a quick topic on Tua, man. This week, thankfully, has been much quieter. It's been dealing with and revolving around all personnels, man. Player personnel, roster decisions, things like that. For those who don't know, I think the last time we talked Washington football, the kicker Dustin Hopkins was released, and the Washington football team elevated kicker Chris Blewett to the 53-man roster, the active roster. I have no issue with it. I will say one thing in defense of Chris Blewett. There's been a ton of arguments since Hopkins got released in that Washington made a questionable decision in terms of timing, cutting Dustin Hopkins. But not only timing, it's also questionable in the sense that they signed a kicker who has never had any experience in the NFL before. And I'll say this one thing and I'll leave it alone. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were a fan of Dustin Hopkins, or at one point was a fan of Dustin Hopkins, and you just somehow hate the team right now, I understand your frustration, but understand this as well. Washington signed Dustin Hopkins in 2015. The Buffalo Bills drafted Dustin Hopkins in 2013. Before Washington signed Dustin, he didn't even have a single kick in the NFL yet. So while people are making a big deal about, the fact that he has no NFL experience, I want you to know that Washington took a chance on a kicker named Dustin Hopkins at one point who had no NFL experience himself. I just want y'all to know that. So I will acknowledge one more thing. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. But if the coach cannot trust the kicker, if the coach cannot trust the player, they will either be benched or cut. Secondly, you don't get nervous and keep a guy because you don't know what can be better on the other side. That's not how things work. You don't do that. If you're ready to move on, you move on and you look for better. And you continue to seek better until you find that better. And that's kind of the situation with Dustin Hopkins. I will leave that there. What's going on, Hi? How you feeling? So people that's in the chat, talk to me right quick because we're going to transition. That was Dustin Hopkins. We're going to transition to a quick conversation about Tua Tagovailoa. I butchered his name, but we're gonna call him TT so I won't seem disrespectful. So first and foremost, I'm gonna ask you all, do you mind Washington taking a chance on Tua if the rumors of him being involved in trade talks are serious? For those who are not aware, I'm going to go to the initial tweet. I think now, first off, actually, let me say that. Let me go ahead and state it right now. I'm not entirely too sure where the rumor started, and I wasn't about to do any investigations to figure out where the initial tweet came from on October 20th of this year. So I'm gonna just leave it at that. Here's a tweet that I found at 4:30 p.m. yesterday. And if this wasn't the original source or whatever, okay. But Cody Davis he's a beat reporter for the Locked On Texans network, but also, or the Locked On Texans podcast and the Texans Wire. Cody Davis stated that in regards to Texans closing in on a deal that would send Deshaun Watson to the Miami Dolphins, I'm hearing that it could be a 3-team deal that would send Tua TT to the Washington football team. So High says that Tua ain't it. My issue with the Tua conversation, it isn't even that Washington, what's the best way to say it? I think Washington is in a position where they can't really afford to trade a lot for Tua. I think that Washington is in a position where if you view Tua as something, then he needs to be that something that's going to be brought in with no guarantees, understanding that you're not trading for Tua for him to be your future. You're trading him to be the tryout for your future. Think about it like this. And this is what I thought of in the situation with Tua. If this one thing does happen and Tua finds himself being shipped out of Miami. In 2017 or maybe 2016, Jimmy Garoppolo was traded from the Patriots to the San Francisco 49ers. When Jimmy Garoppolo was traded to the 49ers, he was on the last year of his deal as well. And for Jimmy, he had to be re-signed at the end of the season. Now, for me, I'm going to help myself out right quick, and I'm going to look and see what year that was specifically so I can get a little bit more factual here. 1 second. Yep, so it was the 2017 season. Because of that 2-0 record that he produced with the New England Patriots the year before. So, again, back to Jimmy. If Tua was to get traded, it would be something similar to the likes of Jimmy's narrative and his storyline. Traded to a team. He has a couple weeks to get acclimated with that new team. And then it's okay, let me see what you got these last 4 or 5 games, because we're not in it right now. We're not making the playoffs. We need to see what we have in Tua. For Washington, if he was to get traded here, first off, it's kind of crazy how Ryan Fitzpatrick escaped Miami. And if Tua found his way back, if he found his way back into the same locker room as Ryan Fitzpatrick, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick may have to put the pause on Tua. He may have to put the pause on Tua, man. But he would have to have that run. And for me, it would literally come down to wins and losses. Like how does he command an offense? How is he being able to maneuver within this offense and lead a team, and also be able to make the right throws? Can he show that he has better arm strength and better awareness than Taylor Heineke? Can he see the field a little bit better than Taylor Heineke? Because right now Taylor is at number 2. Like, he is a good backup. He ain't gonna be starting for you, but he is that good backup. So I think that he will end up being in a Jimmy Garoppolo situation where, like, if he's not able to, wherever he goes, if he's not able to compete, after he gets a couple weeks to kind of get acclimated with an offense, if he's not able to compete, then, he's out the door. That's kind of where it's at. And for Washington, they're in that position where you can't afford to marry yourself to a guy just because you traded for him. You can't do it. Even if you overstep and trade for Tua using your second or third round draft picks, you can't do it. Washington needs to find their quarterback, be aggressive in their search, understanding that at this point, all the chips that you had, which was on the defensive side of the football, that could have attracted a quarterback in here, because all that quarterback knew was this team needed a quarterback. All your chips are now gone because of how bad your defense is. Your defense is the 32nd ranked defense in the NFL. The 32nd ranked defense in points, 31st in yards. That's how bad your defense is. What quarterback is going to want to come? When I say what quarterback, I'm talking about the Russell Wilsons. I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson if he was a free agent, which he isn't, but he may have his choice in locations if he's getting traded. These other names, even Jameis Winston now, like, what quarterback would want to come to Washington to be that looked at as that stability guy? Like, they want somebody they want a team that's actually stable. And Washington has not provided that this year. So all the chips that Washington had, they're gone. They're not there right now. So you're looking at the draft, and that's why your draft capital is going to be pretty important. And for me, trading for Tua, the quarterback himself, I have no opinion on him, man. It's kind of hard when you got to deal with a guy who has so many injuries, and he's been in the league for 2 years. He's missed so much time, man, or enough time that kind of backs the injury issue that he dealt with in Alabama with his hip. It's just rough. I don't know if I'm really willing to trade anything for Tua, man. And then personally, I would fucking riot. I would really riot. So I Life again mentioned that Tua ain't it, and DMV said even if I did want Tua, I especially wouldn't trade for him in the middle of the season. So how much would y'all give up for Tua? Well, I know I ain't trading for Tua, but DMV, if you were to get, or if Washington was to get Tua, what would be a price tag that you're content with? Let me know that part. Okay, so that's kind of where everything got started. And then for those who are concerned and wondering if, you know, the Tua rumors are legit, for what it's worth, the Washington media, local beat reporters and things like that, they all said essentially no. JP Finley said of NBC Sports Washington said he got a hard no when he inquired from multiple people. So if you're worried about if Tua is coming to Washington, D.C., or if there's any legs to the rumor, there's, just say, because there's always a chance, just say it's probably like a 10% chance that Tua comes to Washington. I don't think Ron Rivera should be desperate for a quarterback, but I don't think he's that desperate to trade in Tua. So DMV said he'll trade a 4th or a 5th. Yeah, and it's something, like I said, I couldn't get mad at. I would be upset if they traded for Tua and they said, okay, we have our guy. That's the mistake that I think that they will make. They need to treat this same situation like San Francisco treated Jimmy Garoppolo when he came aboard. They gave him the 5 games at the end of the season. He went 5-0. He got the extension. They ended up getting a Super Bowl appearance out of it. And I mean, he's still playing here, but yes, that's kind of like how they have to treat the situation for me before you sit here and say Tua is your guy. That's kind of where I'm at with it. Okay. Green Bay and Washington. Green Bay and Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, as we speak right now, Green Bay are 8-point favorites against the Washington football team. It did start as high as 10 points in most places, excuse me. But now the number has dropped down to 8 points, which is an indication for those who do not gamble that there are a lot of people on Washington's side today or this week. I don't know if that means that they'll win, but it's a lot of people that think that they can keep it close as of right now. This is Thursday. Things may change, but right now there's a lot of people on Washington's side. The sharp guys, the smart guys, they are on Washington's side. Let's go to the injury report right quick. And this is from Washington's PR. I'll just roll through the lists for Washington football team and the Green Bay Packers. So we have Sam Cosmi did not participate. Curtis Samuel did not participate. Brandon Sheriff, DNP, and so was Cam Sims. Limited was De'Ami Brown, Antonio Gibson, William Jackson, Terry McLaurin, Ricky Seals-Jones. And then full was Jonathan Allen and Charles Leno. For the Green Bay Packers, who has a much shorter list, is Dennis Kelly, DNP, Josh Myers, DNP, Preston Smith, DNP. Limited was Kevin King and Darnell Savage. And then full participant was Equanimeous St. Brown. So that's kind of where we are with the injury report. What are y'all overall thoughts about the matchup? Talk to me, like, how much of a chance do you all give them? Oh, I'm sorry. Phone lines are open, by the way. I should have did that already. 443-242-4479. You can call in if you'd like, and give your thoughts on the team and their chances, or anything relating to the team. Let's do current events. You know, anything that's happened this week that you want to get your thoughts on or give your thoughts on. But yes, that's the number for the call in. What are y'all ideas or initial thoughts about the matchup? For me, the Packers are going to have to be, they're going to have to be stunned. And what I mean by that is the Packers have been terrible in the first quarter on both sides of the ball. Like throughout the entire season, they have been terrible in the first quarter of games on both sides of the ball. Green Bay has been outscored 31-17 in the first quarter of the season. So the biggest thing for Washington from a macro perspective is understanding how quick of a start they have to get on or get to for the Green Bay Packers. Just establishing an early lead, establishing the fact, or take advantage of the fact that they just aren't really ready to play that early into the game. Now Washington is in the same boat. I don't want to, bury that, sweep that under the rug. Washington's in the same boat. They get off to slow starts as well. However, I'm just saying, if you're going to get off to a slow start, at least on the offensive side of the ball or the defensive side of the ball, make sure that the Packers are struggling on one particular unit as well. Keep this game close, but preferably you need to get off to a quick start on the especially the offensive side of the football. Okay, so I mentioned that he's expecting Rodgers is going to tear us up. You know what's crazy? I was watching the game this morning, and I'm not going to sit here and give you false hope, but I will say that man is not perfect. He missed quite a few reads against the Chicago Bears, whether it was straight pressure or him locking down Davante Adams, which is not a bad thing. Davante Adams he's a top 3, top 5 receiver in the NFL. So that's kind of essential when we talk about that equation here. But Aaron Rodgers he's missed quite a few people. Missed quite a few reads as well. We're talking about our offense right now, because we are going to talk about the. Let's talk about Washington's offense first. Excuse me. So, for those who don't know, Green Bay's defense is the 5th ranked in yards per game in the NFL, 13th in points allowed. And on the surface, that's a pretty good defense. This defense is also 24th in yards per attempt, in terms of stopping the run, but 4th in passing yards per attempt. So obviously, just from the statistical standpoint, a lot of teams are finding success running the ball against them, but not so much as in the past. But I think that has a lot to do with who they played against. The Chicago Bears, they're not passers of the football. The Pittsburgh Steelers, same thing. And then the New Orleans Saints, same thing. They're not really passers of the football. The San Francisco 49ers, that was probably one of the San Fran and Cincinnati was probably one of the bigger games they had given up yardage wise against the ground, against the air and stuff like that. So that's one thing. The defense, again, in other metrics, they are, do I have the numbers right here? Y'all aren't going to believe this one. They're 25th in third down percentage, giving up 43% on third downs, but they are allowing 100% touchdowns in the red zone. So clearly they're dead last. They've given up 15 touchdowns on 15 trips for opposing teams in the red zone. So last week I mentioned how bad the Kansas City Chiefs was, and we all knew how bad they were from that standpoint, just understanding key metrics and things like that. My thing is, for this team in general, or this team specifically, is understanding that there are tiers. And I said this to Logan Paulson. If you all haven't had an opportunity to see the Logan Paulson film breakdown and interview with him, I did that on Tuesday, man. It's really good stuff. Y'all should check it out. But one of the things that we discussed is understanding how the offense operates when they play a step above. Starts from the quarterback position, and it starts from the quarterback position and with the coordinator spot. Both find themselves being conservative, but also not just being conservative, understanding that where we at, not just being conservative, understanding that these guys, what's this guy calling me for? My bad, y'all. My bad. Understanding that these guys are playing a level above. The Saints, the Chiefs, the Bills, all top tier guys, all top tier teams. They're finding ways to kind of neutralize the offense, neutralize Taylor Heineke, and it's becoming a blueprint. Joe Barry isn't the best defensive coordinator, but he has the talent. He has some talent on that Packers defense, something that he didn't have when he was in Washington. And that's kind of where things kind of go awry for Washington's offense, is understanding that while there's opportunities to be successful against the Green Bay Packers defense, exploiting the middle of the field is something that kind of works out well for offenses. Even an offense with the Chicago Bears, who really struggled, though the people were open. Actually, they didn't. I'm being a little bit too critical. They had a little bit of success over the middle, man. And that's kind of beneficial for an offense like a person like Taylor Heineke, who if you can find, where are my notes? If you can find the coverage breakdowns, because again, the middle of the field is advantageous for Washington and most teams. But if you can find the coverage breakdowns, and I'm not saying it's like it's something that's easy or anything like that, but Taylor's going to have that opportunity or that pre-snap recognition in which, like, the film study shows that the tendency presents him that opportunity to be like this linebacker is going to end up drifting where he's not supposed to drift, or we can test that safety to kind of bring him down inside the box and hit him with a post over the middle. I mean, over the top. Like the crossers, if we can utilize the crosser and have the safety and corner take the same receiver and have somebody underneath or go the other way, things like that. Like, you have to, this is film study, this is pre-snap recognition, understanding who your target is. If Taylor Heinicke can find that guy and also be accurate, because that's the most important thing, right? If Taylor Heinicke can find that guy, then you're in good shape. Another thing that I noticed too, looking at the Chicago game, is that the Chicago Bears had a lot of success against the Green Bay defensive front using multiple tight end sets, whether it's mainly through the run. The run game is been that. I don't think they really utilize their two tight ends or multiple tight ends in the passing game as well. I forgot the guy's name. The tight end, Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet really didn't see that many targets when he was lined up outside on the boundaries and stuff like that. So I think the biggest thing for Washington, and it's going to be hard because, Ricky and John Bates they're still a new tandem. Like Logan Thomas and Ricky Seals probably would have been more beneficial, or Logan Thomas and John Bates. But John Bates and Ricky Seals, especially an injured Ricky Seals, I don't know like how they're going to utilize them. But two tight end sets, understanding the inside zones or the powers, kind of work well against Green Bay. So the next step is, how much is Scott Turner going to use J.D. McKissic? How much is he going to use Jared Patterson? I don't know if he should feature Antonio Gibson so much this week, given his injury or his inability to kind of catch up health-wise and things like that. I'm not necessarily sure that he's there yet. So I can't call it. For where are we at now? I talked about the middle of the field and Taylor being able to see those things, but also being accurate. And then we transition to the Washington side, the defense. You mentioned Aaron Rodgers, man. I am in agreement with you. I think one of the things, and I made this point yesterday to some people, we all saw what Patrick Mahomes looked like in the first half of the game against Washington. He looked like a quarterback who was inconsistent, couldn't get out of his own way, clearly inaccurate at sometimes, but also was doing too much. He was forcing the issue. And then you saw a second half with that same quarterback where he was on point. He was hitting his receiver. He was maneuvering well in the pocket. He was maneuvering well outside of the pocket. He was buying himself time. He was making the right throws. He saw the field well. He was hitting everything. Aaron Rodgers is what Patrick Mahomes was in the second half, except for he was like that the entire game. There is no mistakes like that from Aaron Rodgers. He has so much experience. He knows he knows and understands that his mobility is best served inside the pocket, in the pocket, understanding that you can maneuver well and buy yourself some time just by moving a few yards here and there subtly, things like that. Aaron Rodgers is gonna look to find that open man inside the pocket. He'll scramble out and he'll make plays downfield, but he's not going to force the issue like a Patrick Mahomes would. That will be irresponsible of him. He knows that, but that's kind of where we are with Aaron Rodgers. So there are some clips that I'm going to show you all, and let me see if okay. All right, so there's some clips I want to show you all right quick. Let me go ahead and exit out of this. There's an empty set formation that the Packers love to run. And I'm gonna run through 5 plays that I looked at earlier today. That'll kind of give you all a glimpse or understanding of what I'm talking about. So I'll run through these plays right quick. Where are we at? Okay. These are all empty sets against the Chicago Bears. I'm going to go ahead and play the first one. All right. So the Packers, for those who are listening to the podcast, these are all empty set formations. Essentially, there's no running back in the backfield at all with Aaron Rodgers. And the Packers and Aaron Rodgers, I feel like this is his most comfortable formation to be in. He can see the field well. He can recognize his matchups. Let me see if I can. Where's the play button at? All right. For those who are seeing, he can see the field well. He sees the pressure in front of him. He knows that his man-to-man, single high safety up here. And all you got to do is find your weak spot. All you have to do is find your weak spot. Aaron Rodgers loves this because the ball comes out of his hands quick, things like that. And he'll love, like, if they could, they'd utilize as much as they can. Like, that's kind of where they are with that. So that's one play. I'm gonna show you some more. I got 5 of them. Again, same thing. I don't think y'all saw that. So first things first, this is kind of a the pro and con of this for Aaron Rodgers. So I'm gonna show you the pro first. Again, same thing. Remember, empty back. But notice right here at this very moment, the running back has the linebacker beat on the crosser. Like, the momentum was taking the linebacker to the sideline. You have the running back coming underneath. He's beat his guy. He's beat his guy. And there's nobody underneath for that. The way Washington will have to stop this, because they're not going to stop using it against the Washington football team. They're going to keep using this formation. It's to get pressure. You have to get pressure with your guys. Both the edges got there, and they got home pretty quick. Washington is in that same position, heading against the Green Bay Packers, where you have a good front 7. Excuse me. You have a good front 4. You have a good front 4, and also you have depth on the front 4. These guys have to win. The interior has to win. They have to push the pocket. They have to get to Rodgers quick. So, again, they got there. The man out here, A.J. Dillon, it looks like he beat his man off rips. But Aaron Rodgers didn't see him. He couldn't see him. So, understand that part. I'm going to show you 2 more. But this is just something that they love to do, and I think that this is their bread and butter. But I think the issue with this, because again, it wasn't always hit or miss. When Rodgers had a clean pocket, he was slicing and dicing. So I think this is another completion right there, just right there, that quick. This is 3rd and 7. He got the first down too. Stand off the middle. I think that's Tunyon or something like that. He cuts it upfield, first down. Washington, if Green Bay wanted to, I lie to you not, if the pressure isn't getting home, they can run this all game. Just split out everybody wide, find your mismatch, use motion if you have to, and continue to exploit this team. You have Aaron Jones down at the bottom at the line of scrimmage. He's closest to the tackle, the left tackle. Dakota, you got to move. And then you have the slant. You have a double slant. Actually, you have, oh Lord, everybody's running the slant. And then you have the flats. Completion right there. So number 4, same thing. I'm gonna show you. This is just something that they love to do. This is 5 times, and I've only recorded 5, but Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay probably ran it close to 7, maybe 8 times, something like that. So again, empty back. You have the tight end out here, Aaron Jones, and then your other 3 receivers. He sees everything up front. You have the 1 single high. So it's probably indicative of man coverage, cover 1. Pressure. Pressure. Again, matter of fact, I don't even remember if there was anybody open on this one. I'm not going to lie to you. Odds are you have two people breaking inwards. He's probably breaking in. I'm going to see if that was the case. Nope. He just ran a seam route. So I don't even know what they were running, but it seems like everybody was covered with this one. So yes, that's kind of, again, the same thing that I'm showing you all. Pressure is going to get home against Aaron Rodgers. You just have to, the people up front is going to have to win. And I think that for Washington, blitzing is going to be real key for them, because the way the rush is looking, while they're winning their individual battles, they're not necessarily in sync still entirely. So that's kind of where I'm at with that one. And then one more. Show you all this one. Same thing. This one isn't a single high look, at least off the snap. So we'll see right quick. So then they get to the single high. And you see that, right? So he has time, easy money. I'll go ahead and let it play out. Drops back, finds Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams makes a man miss, goes down the sideline. This is about, oh Lord, that's probably like my math is right, 50 some yard play. So I'll run it back again just to show you all. This is why they love this stuff, man. Like the mismatches that they create is something where teams kind of struggle to defend a 5-wide set like that against a quarterback with a quick release in Aaron Rodgers, but also with the awareness and play recognition pre-snap to make him as dangerous as he is. So that is the 5 plays that I showed. But understand, like, empty set is going to be something that's going to be killer for Washington. And something very advantageous on the Packers side of things that kind of helps move their offense a lot. Obviously, we know about Aaron Jones, dynamic playmaker, and very elite traits as a ball carrier. And then the biggest runs for Green Bay, they love to attack the A gaps and B gaps, zone runs, stuff like that. Even power was successful too. But those are kind of their bread and butters. Anything up the middle. Aaron Jones, his vision is excellent. And speaking of which, let me see. Jack Del Rio spoke on him, saying that, you know, he presents challenges. He thinks he's a dynamic runner, a slasher, really runs behind his pads, finds the hole, has exceptional vision. He thinks that he's one of the best top backs in the league. I mean, that's kind of a 1-2 punch that they have between he and he's talking about AJ Dillon. So he thinks that him running the ball and their RPOs, the run pass options, kind of makes them and Devontae Adams, a spectacular combination for that offense. So that's for Aaron Jones. Another thing is going to have to be tackling. And again, Jack Del Rio spoke today, for those who didn't know. In his full quote, he actually spoke on tackling and being able to tackle these playmakers when the ball is in their hands. He spoke on the missed tackles from the Kansas City Chiefs and just in general. And he mentioned, quote unquote, yeah, I think the biggest thing is it wasn't really the number as much it was in really some critical moments. You know, we were off the field on third downs. You work at it with leverage and you work at it with footwork and all the things that you can do. What you're not going to do is actually tackle in season to the ground. In fact, you don't do it in camp either. And so the time you do it is live in games. I think there are 2 things that help your leverage. And then it's also swarming of people around you and the confidence that they're coming. I think when you start playing faster like that and you're able to take your shot and know that you have people behind you, I think that it creates a more confident tackler. So just, again, understanding how tackling is important heading into this game and understanding the issues that Washington has had over the last couple of weeks from a team who apparently was good at tackling the first 3 weeks. They just sucked on defense. When you're in this type of situation for Washington, you know, you're in much better shape. Okay. The last thing that I want to bring to you all attention before we get out of here, again, like I said, this wasn't about to be a long stream. It's just me. We ain't got nobody to interview. Is the third down offense and the red zone offense for the Green Bay Packers. And as we go through this, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear your predictions. What's your game predictions for this game? And who will end up being the game's MVP? As always, make sure you stay tuned for Anti-Up's Consulting official pick for the Packers Washington Week 7 game. So far, Anti-Up is 4-2. They are on a roll now. I told you all, if y'all a gambling man and you love learning things, and you wanna learn more about the actual science behind gambling and understanding things. Anti-Up, I've known these guys for close to a decade now. These are the people that you want to talk to. These are the people that you want to listen to. Anti-Up Consulting's official pick of the week for the Washington and Packers game will follow for those who are listening to the podcast, and on YouTube, it will follow the show. So just stay tuned for that. All right. So let's get your predictions and who is going to be your MVP. The last thing that I was going to speak on was the third down offense and red zone offense. Again, Washington has another opportunity to improve their metrics, but also build some confidence. The Green Bay Packers. Hold up, move, bro. Oh, yeah, take your ball. My bad, y'all. Here. Bro, what was you doing? Goddamn dog. The Packers offense is the 14th ranked offense on third downs. They are converting on first downs 40.6% of the time. And then secondly, the red zone offense, as bad as their defense is giving up 100%, their offense is scoring on 58% of the time, which is 22nd in the NFL. So there's opportunities for Washington to kind of neutralize the Green Bay Packers on both offense and, well, neutralize their offense, but also have opportunities for success against their defense. It's all about attacking the open voids, because there will be breakdowns in communication. There will be breakdowns on defense. It's all about Taylor Heineke trying to find that, but also how Scott Turner is going to attack those the tendencies or test their discipline. That's the word I'm thinking of. That's kind of where we're at with that side. All right, here we are. The picks of the week. So we have 28-14 from High Life, 28-14 Packers. Who's going to be your MVP? So for me, I have, where am I at? I forgot what I said yesterday when I did a show with the Hogstye. I'm not going to lie to y'all, but I did think that the Green Bay Packers, they were probably going to win handedly. I felt it was like, I'm going to say 31-16. I don't remember what I ended up saying yesterday. I'm going to say 31-16. Packers win. It's going to be a long day for Washington. In a sense, for me, I don't think that they'll be able to capitalize with these opportunities with this offense. The Washington's offense, I don't really know Taylor Heineke has that in him. Hey, oof, man. I don't think Taylor Heineke has that in him, but also understanding the limitations of this offense from an overall standpoint. Scott Turner not really being a consistent coordinator who can really utilize all of his playmakers at one time. But then also Taylor Heineke not having the accuracy and arm strength to connect with his receivers in instances. These things they're going to get in the way. They're going to get in the way. I do think the Washington's defense will have a little bit of success until they can't. Like, it's going to be the same story as the Chiefs, in my opinion, but it's going to be like, if there was something to throw a wrench into my prediction, it would be the Washington's offense stepping up. That's the only way that Green Bay isn't scoring 30-something points, because they're going to be on the field a long time. That's kind of where I'm at. 31-16. Green Bay Packers win. Washington falls to 2-5. For me, my game MVP is probably going to be Aaron Jones. I'll take that back. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. I'm not going to be any different. Not going to be any different. High says that his MVP will be Devontae Adams because we have a non-existent secondary. Oh, Lord. Hey, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, man. It's not looking too good. Landon Collins moved into the box, so we're going to start seeing him primarily. He's been doing it the last couple of weeks, but now that he's been on notice and it's been a formal conversation of him transitioning to the box as a linebacker, You're going to start seeing him make a lot more plays near the line of scrimmage. They did use him in a couple blitz scenarios against the Kansas City Chiefs. I think his problem is going to be, if they use it against the Packers, is understanding that his depth needs to be a little bit shorter. He didn't really give himself good starting points when he blitzed against the Chiefs. And that kind of disrupted, or excuse me, the opposite. It didn't disrupt anything for the Kansas City Chiefs because he got to the lineman like 2 or 3 seconds after the ball to snap. So it'll be interesting to see how Landon Collins transitions to linebacker, man. I'm not really too hard on people. I'm not really too hard on Landon like some people are, now that he's converting unofficially the linebacker. I'm not going to really be too hard on him if that's what they're trying to do right now. People got to understand, man, linebacker is still different from safety. This ain't just because we think that he plays better in the box. Understanding that his assignments are a little bit different, or his responsibilities or techniques or whatever principles, they may all be different from an official linebacker standpoint. So it's not just a smooth transition for Landon. He has to understand that too. Like he has to get the nuanced things down packed. So I'm not even going to be too hard on Landon, believe it or not. Not if he's playing in the box. I got to give him some time to kind of develop and understand his new role in this Washington defense and how he can make an impact. So I'm not too hard on him. With that being said, everybody, we are out of here. Again, stay tuned. For those listening on the podcast or watching on YouTube, stay tuned for the Anti-Ups Consulting official pick of the week for the Packers and Washington football team. So with that being said, everybody, enjoy your evening. Enjoy the game tonight. I'm not too confident in my bet tonight. I'm not going to lie to y'all, but I'll put it out there anyway because I don't hide. I have the Denver Broncos +2, and I have the Cleveland Broncos under 40.5. That's kind of where I'm at right now. So I'm out of here. Y'all be safe. Enjoy y'all day and y'all evening. Peace.
Whole hard in the trenches. Ask a nigga what he benching. Triple digits, nigga. Don't forget to mention. Whole hard in the trenches.